everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I am so excited to come on today to share with you guys a new crafting company, at least new for the United States. LoveCrafts.com is a British-based company, and they recently opened an online store in the US, and I was so excited to get the opportunity to try some of their products and their shipping, and so I could come on here and share with you guys my experiences with LoveCrafts.com. Now, I want to tell you guys that they reached out to me to do this review, but they're not paying me for this, and it is not sponsored. However, I did get some free products from them, and I'm going to share with you guys a crafting project that I did with one of them. But before I get into all of that, I wanted to let you guys know that as a kind of introductory offer, they're giving me a coupon code for all of you guys that will last for 1 month starting today. I'm going to put the details in the description box below, but basically on all orders of $10 or more, you can get 20% off by using the coupon code CraftyPaws20 when you check out. Isn't that awesome? And they have some really great products that are sometimes hard to find here in the US and or are not available at all. And I went through their extensive inventory to check out some great products at some really good competitive prices, especially if you add the extra coupon code. So I'm going to share with you guys the 3 products that I selected for my DT projects. The first one is this Penny Black Take Me Away. It's a transparent photopolymer stamp set, and I just think that the images are so stinking cute. The project that I am first sharing with you guys today is made with this one. It's so darling, this little teddy holding the arm of the other little teddy, and they're being pulled away by the balloons. And then this one swinging on a swing, the little couple. I thought this would be great for Valentine's Day, anniversaries, weddings, and this cute little porcupine here with the heart is so darling. Plus, you can also use these beautiful floral stems to do like a little wreath. So many ideas. I think this stamp set is absolutely adorable, and the price at lovecrafts.com is really great, especially with the 20% off coupon. The next stamp set that I got is the Stampendous stamp set. It is so stinking cute. Look at these adorable puppies and the great sentiments. Life is rough, hug a friend, you had me at woof, this little paw print, faithful, loyal, forever friend. Who needs a hug and a great big kiss? I mean, how awesome, especially this one, I think, because my Babaloo loves licking people, and all of these pups have their little tongues hanging out. So it's great for Tongue Out Tuesday cards too. This one's called Dog Kisses, and this one in the US right now is pretty hard to find, and the price at LoveCrafts is great. And then lastly, I picked out this stamp set for Christmas in July cards that I'm hoping to make. And it's got this adorable little Christmas gnome, these little birds with little mushrooms. It's so darling. And it's Gnome Time is a brand, I think it's based somewhere in the UK. Yeah, it's designed in the UK. And there are, I think I've seen a couple of other similar sets from the same brand in the US, but this one I could only find at LoveCrafts. So I just think that these images are so darling. It's got a little snowflake and a little holly. It's so cute, and I can't wait to color this one up too. So for this pair of teddy bears, I am using Memento Desert Storm ink so that I can do some no-line coloring. And I've also die cut an oval there because I want to do some spotlight or highlight coloring. So for the teddy bear on the top, I'm using E41 as just a base coat. This is Copic markers, and I'm just kind of marking in where the shadows are likely to be with a second coating of the same ink. And just doing this baseline coloring is going to help with my color pencil coloring, which is not typical for me, but I wanted to really try out this furry technique. And the lower teddy bear was with E50. Now I'm just using a Prismacolor Premium white color pencil, and I'm just using some flicking motions to get some hair texture, furry texture on the edges of the image. And then next I'm using a kind of a yellow color. If you want to know the particular colors that I use, I list them all in my accompanying blog post, which I will link to in the description box below. And that's for all of the materials that I use on any of my projects. I'm using a second color here, this yellow color, just to mark in slightly darker areas and to give it a little bit of that three-dimensionality. The third color I'm using is kind of a terracotta color. And again, I'm marking in where I think the shadows are going to be. And I'm using the light source as if it's coming from the upper right quadrant. And so everything on the lower left is going to get a little bit darker, a shaded area. And I'm also coloring around the muzzle because I think that'll be recessed. And I'm also making sure that I'm getting some furry texture all along the outside edge of the teddy bear. And I think with color pencils in particular, it's fantastic to use when you want that really furry texture, because those little tiny flick marks are so sharp, especially if you keep your pencil sharp, which you should do if you're using color pencils. And then I kind of blended out a little bit back with that yellow color pencil. And now I'm using a slightly darker brown to make sure I get underneath, behind the head, around the eyes, where the seam might be down the forehead, where the back ear or ear on the left will be more shadowed, under the arm, under the belly, on the left or back side of the belly, underneath where there'd be a cast shadow from the belly to the leg. And I'm just continuing to add more flicking textured coloring on the back side of the face. Again, always on the lower left side is where the shadows will be, or like on the right side of the face, you saw me do a little bit of coloring just because that would be where the seam going down the middle of the face might be. And I'm blending it back out with that yellow. And now I'm using, I think that's a black or an espresso to mark in where the eyes and the nose are, and the little tiny smile. And for the teddy bear on the right, I'm using kind of a pale khaki color in lieu of the white that I had used on the left or lower teddy bear. And I'm just using that same flicking motion to get a real furry texture going all around the edges of the teddy bear, including around the head, underneath the chin, by the arms. And I'm making sure that I'm flicking in the direction that I believe that the fur would fall or the hair would fall. So, you know, it's always kind of from the center out, or from the, you know, if it's an arm, from the center of the arm down, just to make sure that I'm getting the thinnest portion of that flick of that pencil to be the tips of the fur. Now I'm going through and using a yellow color again, just to bring in highlights of that fur. I didn't want it to be so dull in that khaki tone. In fact, I want to try to, I think, make this teddy bear more chocolatey in color, but I want the warm, rich tones to kind of show through. And a lot of fur texture, if you look at it, it has a lot of color in it. Even if something looks just brown, it will have like a yellow and an orange and all of those other undertones when you look at fur in the light. So now I'm using, I believe this is a chocolate. And again, I'm just making sure I'm going all around the edges. And then this time the center seam going down the teddy bear's face is more about 1/3 over from the left. And 2/3 of on the right side of the face is more lit. And I'm making sure that I am keeping my color pencil sharp. You saw me sharpening there along the way. I edited out a lot of my pencil sharpening out of this video because it was getting long as it was, even with the sped up time. And I'm just making sure that the furry texture is throughout. And that's what I love about color pencils. You really get so much control rather than with markers or inks that kind of bleed or blend out. You really get to retain the sharp point of the pencils helping you, working with you to give that texture of fur. Now I'm going back in with the yellow to kind of blend out again. And one more time with a darker brown. I am going through and marking in where the eyes and the nose, and I wanted it a little bit darker, so I'm going in with the black there, and then the little smile. And I decided I wanted more of a contrast with this teddy bear from the other teddy bear, so I'm going in with an even darker brown. I think this is like a raw umber or a light umber or dark umber. Again, I list all of the colors that I use on my blog post, and I usually list them for going from light to dark, so you can see what colors might work for you. Even if you don't have the same colors in your color pencil set, you can go from what I list on mine to see what might work well together. Also, just so you know, I do color swatches on a little scrap of the same kind of paper that I use for my coloring, just off camera, so that I know what colors will blend well together. I struggled a lot more with the teddy bear on the right because I wanted to make him darker but not lose all of the detail of the image and the cuteness. I didn't want it to become, you know, like a dark shadowy pit. So I really worked hard to layer in color after color to get texture, but also to maintain a light enough look so that you can see all of that texture while being able to make the teddy bear more of a chocolatey or milky chocolate brown. So I'm going through and just continuing to mark in the fur texture on the legs, on the arms, on the bottoms of the little legs. And then I go back in. This was back with that lightest khaki color that I used to just blend in where I thought, you know, my pencil might have gotten a little bit too dark or the contrast was too stark. I wanted to blend the darker and the lighter colors together. I'm going back in and putting in some accents again with the darker brown, making sure that I get enough shadow on the lower left so that it really looks like the light source is on the upper right. And make sure that I get that good texture. I've gone all the way to espresso here just because I wanted to give that full range of light to dark on this teddy bear. In fact, I think I use more than double the number of color pencils on the teddy bear on the right than I did on the teddy bear with the teddy bear on the left. But I think that it actually helped a lot to use all of those different colors because I wanted such a rich brown tone. Now, I cut another oval die cut piece again, and now I'm inking up the same image in the same location with Tuxedo Memento black ink. And now I'm using a Copic multiliner pen and emphasizing this second stamp over top of the first one that I did with Desert Storm because I thought it would look a little bit more kind of rich and cartoony if I was able to make the part that I don't color up as much have these really clear, crisp black lines. So I wanted the teddy bears to look like they've come to life, and not only particularly around the oval area that's going to be all in color and the outside of the oval area that's not going to be colored, but also I wanted to make the teddy bears holding the balloons look more cartoony, whereas the teddy bears were really coming to life with this more realistic no-line coloring with the color pencils. For the backgrounds, I could have used color pencil for this, but I find blending with Copic markers easier to do when I want a smoother look. So I'm taking a Y00 to get in the same kind of yellowish background that I have around the edges of the teddy bears that I colored up with the color pencils. And then I'm just making sure that it matches well. And then I'm going in, I wanted a little bit of more interest in the background, so I'm coloring in and blending out a YG11, which is a very pale yellow green. So it has a hint of that yellow, but blends really easily with the yellow. And then I thought, really, if it's sky, I really wanted to have some blue in there. So I'm coloring in the edges again with a B000. And I like how this is coming out. I'm hoping it needs to be I'm thinking it needs to be a little bit richer, so I use a B00 over top of that, just because I thought I didn't want the background to be completely washed out. I want the teddy bears to stand out, but the background to be able to kind of hold its own a little bit in terms of the intensity or saturation of the color. And I'm going to just quickly show you one of the balloons that I do color up with this trio of reds, and I'm using 3, blending them back out. That's the mid-tone that I'm using now, and then the lightest. And off camera, I color the others. And I just wanted to show you I'm popping this up with some fun foam, and then I have some foam dots behind the 2 teddy bears that I've colored up, and I'm popping that up. And then off camera, I've cut off the edges so that I have a nice margin. And then around the edges of the heart, I use a Memento Tuxedo black marker. And this is the finished card. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. Please don't forget to check out LoveCrafts.com. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are staying safe and are having a wonderful crafty day.